Unacceptable dog behavior is absolutely preventable. And if you prevent it, you don't have to correct it. So if you don't like the idea of correcting your dog, stay tuned. I'm going to offer you a better solution. Whether you're dealing with puppy housebreaking issues or more serious behavior like growling, lunging, or biting, my go-to solution always starts with one thing: pay attention to your dog. Why? Because if you interrupt a behavior when the dog is in the state of intention, not action, it becomes much easier to communicate your expectations and prevent the dog from acting on impulse. Let me give you something to think about. According to several references, including pubmedcentral.gov, approximately 69 to 88% of child drowning incidences in home swimming pools occur while the child was reportedly under adult supervision. Let that sink in. Now, let me be clear. When I say you need to pay attention to your dog, I'm not talking about that level of supervision. In my experience, the small lies we tell ourselves about what's really happening with our dogs are one of the biggest reasons for problem behavior. Those misunderstandings lead to frustrated owners and dogs that feel anxious, confused, and fearful. And in the worst cases, those preventable situations end with dogs being rehomed or euthanized after they bite someone. At the root of your dog's behavior is your relationship with them, and that relationship must be built on trust, and trust requires honesty. Let me give you an example. A client, Kenny, told me about a recent walk with his dog. She was doing really good. She wasn't pulling, she was watching me, she wasn't looking around for things to bark at. And then all of a sudden, she had a squirrel in her mouth. That's what I call a come to Jesus moment about dog behavior. If you're not being truthful about what's actually happening, you can't help your dog. Another client, Beth, called me about her dog, Rudy. He was growling and lunging at guests, but not always and not at everyone. To her, it felt unpredictable. But here's the truth. If a behavior has happened more than once, it's predictable. And that's actually good news, because if we can anticipate it, we can prepare for it. Beth told me Rudy didn't show signs before lunging, but she did say he growled. A growl is not random. A growl is a warning. It's your dog saying, I'm uncomfortable and I may escalate if this continues. And I can almost guarantee Rudy was showing even earlier signs, changes in posture, ear position, tail carriage. But even if those were missed, the growl itself is clear communication. That's your moment. That's when a calm, immediate leave it should happen. If the growling continues and the body doesn't soften, then a low-level correction may be appropriate, delivered calmly without emotion. But here's the important part. Beth should have already been practicing leave it in low-stress situations, like dropping food in the kitchen or standing calmly while the kids are playing in the yard. For Rudy's behavior to improve, Beth has to recognize two things. This behavior can change, and she is the one responsible for guiding that change. Why? Because Rudy's looking to her for direction when guests enter the home. He needs to hear in a way he understands. I've got this. You don't need to handle it. When dogs growl, lunge, or snap in the presence of their owner, it's often because they feel uncertain. They don't believe the situation is under control. They don't understand what's expected. So they take control the only way they know how. If you learn to recognize the very first signs when your dog is just starting to feel unsure, you can step in early, you can communicate clearly, and in many cases, you can prevent the behavior entirely. And that's the goal: prevention over correction. If this was helpful, subscribe to the Canine POV for more insights on building a stronger, more honest relationship with your dog.